You are refreshed. We liked you better when you were depressed. You know we do not mean that. Right here, yes. Your friends like you better when you're depressed than angry, though, don't they?
Hello, how are you?
Extremely well.
Excellent. How's Esther?
Same.
Yeah. Good. It's a lot of...
Jerry's good too.
Jerry's good.
Karen.
Good to know.
Karen. Karen's good. Mike. How are you?
Good, very good, thank you.
We're not making fun. Well,
Absolutely.
we are a little. But when you ask a question to which you know the answer is going to feel good, it's a downstream question. When you ask a question to which you know the answer is not going to feel good, that's an upstream question. So we think that's really worth thinking about. You're always safe with us because we're always good.
Well, let's talk about good. I'd like to talk about the experience of unbridled joy around receiving a lot of money. And that's an experience I look forward to.
But you know what's really tricky about that? By the time you're ready to receive large amounts of money, it feels so much like the next logical step that it does not feel like unbridled joy. It's tricky, isn't it? Esther was really irritated when she discovered that. Because when you don't have something that you really, really want, you think the really, really getting of it will feel really, really good. But the problem is the really, really getting of it when you don't feel it can't happen. And so you bring yourself into vibrational alignment with it so gradually that when it comes, it just feels logical. Esther can remember a feeling of unbridled joy that you're describing in anticipation of books being translated in many, many different languages. And yet she received one today that she didn't even know they were working on. And her feeling was, oh, how very nice that is. And so that's what you're currently feeling like it will be outrageous abundance will feel like. You'll say, oh, how very nice and normal that is. Because until it feels that way, it can't come.
And so I'm aware of how it doesn't feel that way yet.
However, let us give you something here, because when we were talking about what the call of source feels like, and when you are in joy and you turn your thoughts to a downstream thought, so you come even more into alignment with source, there is this feeling of elation. And a feeling of elation is a feeling of elation. There's just no getting around it. When you are feeling despair and you turn your attention towards something, it doesn't feel like elation. It feels like something that's slightly better than despair, but it doesn't feel like elation. And so the more subjects upon which you are choosing better feeling thoughts, so that you are coaxing yourself into the normal feeling of feeling better and better, then you will feel that exhilaration as the abundance flows into your experience. And under those conditions, it will flow.
I noticed that the feeling of excitement and the feeling of anxiety or fear are very similar. Feels that way.
Because now it's so clever what you're saying here, and you're going to give us an opportunity to explain something so essential. So I'm standing here in the absence of a lot of money that I want. And so I really want a lot of money. Life experience has caused me to ask for this and this and this, and there's a veritable fortune amassed for me in vibrational escrow. But the fortune that's amassed for me, I don't have easy, ready access to it yet, because I'm vibrating over here, beating the drum of not enough money, and it's all over there waiting for me to change my vibration to one of expectation for it. So there's a big gap between where I am and all of this abundance abundance that I'm waiting for. So when you say that feeling of excitement feels sort of like, what was the word you used?
Anxiety.
That's because it's not pure excitement. It's I want it but, I want it but, I want it but. In other words, you're muting the excitement with the vibration that's common to how you feel about money. You
Yes.
see what we're getting at?
Yes.
And so it's just a matter of turning and talking. Let's do it here. So talk to us about dollars. Don't try to make it the way you think it should sound. Just talk about dollars. And we're going to demonstrate how, if it's upstream or downstream. In other words, we'll help you find thoughts. And remember, you don't have to find a thought and turn and make it go fast. You just have to stop this thought and the stream will turn you.
Well, I'll start where I start. If I'm
There are people who associate the feeling of want with absence of having. Chew on that just for a little bit. There are people who think that wanting is only associated with things not yet achieved. And are you getting it? In other words, desire, pure desire in expectation feels one way. Desire in doubt feels another way. And you think that just because you're focused upon a subject of something you want to have, that it's always desire that is pure. And we're wanting to point out that when you want it and you believe it, it feels one way. When you want it and you doubt it, it feels another way. And so it doesn't matter what the words are that you're using, you want to tame the beast and get yourself moving in alignment with what you want. So now we will hear you.
If I'm honest with myself, the truth is that in my life, I've always had enough. Enough. And when I talk about...
whether you use honest words or not doesn't matter, because you can't be dishonest with your vibration. Your vibration is what it is, and law of attraction is responding to what it is. So you don't have to say whether it's truthful or not, because what it is what it is, and law of attraction is bearing out what it is. So if what it is enough, then don't change anything. And if what is not enough, then change some things.
Well, here's the dilemma, is that in one sense, I've had enough. I've had enough. Money is... I've had enough money too.
But you see, that statement is not even accurate on any level. And let us tell you why. Anyone who says, I have enough, is... Now stay with us a little bit. You're going to balk at this a little bit, because it's going to sound different than you want source energy to sound. But anyone who says, I have enough, is not in that moment in alignment with the expanding being that is them, who understands there will never be enough, because there will never be a cessation of expanding. When someone says, I have enough, what they're doing, they're focused upon limitation. They're focused on finite resources, and they are concluding, given the others that may be watching me at this time, that I have more than my fair share. And we want you to understand that even at its best, that is very limited thinking, because there is no ending to what the universe has the ability to yield to you. And you did not say, as you made the decision to come forth into physical experience, I've had enough. I've had enough exposure for life, because that would defy your being here. I've had enough contrasts that will lead me to more desires, because that would defy the fact that you are here giving birth to new desires. In other words, I've had enough defies everything, because source energy is becoming the new you constantly. So what we think you've had enough of is feeling the gap between the expanded you and the you you're letting yourself be. We think that's what you've had enough of.
Right. I hear you.
And so you say, I don't want to put myself in that position anymore. Have you ever been feeling pretty good, and then you saw something that you wanted that you couldn't afford? And then you said, oh man, I wish I didn't know I wanted that, because now I feel tension about it. I didn't care before I drove it, but now I rode in it. Now, I didn't care before I saw her, before I smelled her, before I touched her, but now I want her. In other words, there are so many things that your life experience causes you to become, and you have no choice, if you are to be joyful, than to stay up to speed with it. So never again say, I have enough, but say instead, I have a way of keeping myself in perfect alignment on my way to eternal expansion. And that feeling of not enough, that feeling, discord is the feeling of the stream going this way and me going this way. That's what you're trying to describe with those words, you see.